We're starting a new series telling you how to save on household expenses. Today we tackle your water bill. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. If you're unfamiliar with us, we raised our 4 boys debt-free, including paying cash for our current home when our income averaged under $40,000 a year. So each week, we talk to you about faith, family, and finances, living on a budget with a spirit of joy and abundance. All right, so water bill. You got to have water, right? Unless you live in a rural area and you have a well, then you are paying a municipality for your water. And so you can't really just say, oh, shut it off. It's okay. So you have to have water. Let's talk about ways you can actually lower your water bill. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you don't have any leaks.
Yeah, we discovered this week that I had left a hose on outside. Now the faucet was on to the hose. The hose was shut off, but it had been leaking, and it caused water to cascade down into the basement. And we lost, I don't know how much water to that. Probably.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. I don't even
Means we're
guess.
trying to lower our water bill right now. I don't want to think about it. We'll find out in 30 days.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your hoses, that those fittings are tight and you're not inadvertently leaking water around where the hose actually attaches to the spigot outside of your home.
One sure way to tell whether you have a leak or not is shut all the faucets off that you know of. Make sure everything's shut off. Write down the number on your water meter. Then go back about an hour or two later and check it. If it hasn't moved, you don't have any leaks anywhere.
The second thing you want to consider is installing faucet aerators. What do faucet aerators do?
Well, a faucet aerator actually takes the solid stream of water that's coming out of your faucet and it creates multiple streams. It increases the pressure, but it reduces the amount of water flowing out of the pipe.
And they're incredibly inexpensive. That's the good thing about faucet aerators. You can get a 2-pack of faucet aerators from Amazon for under $10, and they really do work. You can install low-flow shower heads that basically run on the same concept. Now, interestingly, low-flow shower heads can save you a lot of gallons of water, up to 2,000 gallons of water per year, and that's per person taking
Wow.
a shower. So once you multiply that by the number of people in your home, you can be saving an astronomical amount of water.
Just think about it this way. You wouldn't roll up your money and throw it down the drain. That's what you're doing when you're wasting this kind of water. You're actually throwing your money down the drain.
Listen, if you are a bath person, you might want to consider switching to showers because the average bath takes about 37 gallons of water. Whereas if you take a 10-minute shower, you're using about 40 gallons of water.
And if you take a 5-minute shower, you're going to be using anywhere between 15 and 25 gallons of water.
So that's a huge, huge difference. Staying in the same area of the house, let's talk about toilets. The average family, all those flushes, 881 gallons of water per week. Yes, indeed. And if you're living in a home with an older toilet that was produced before 1980, 7 gallons of water per flush.
Oh my gosh.
And even if you have a toilet that was produced, say, from 1980, a few years beyond that, then yes, they use half as much water, but they still use 3.5 gallons of water per flush. But there's a new, relatively new product that is available called low-flow toilets.
Yes, and a low-flow toilet will use about 1.6 gallons of water per flush. Now, the way that they do that is that they have larger openings, and they power flush. They put a lot more force behind the flush so they can get that toilet emptied out with a lot less water.
But what can you do? What if you've got an old toilet and either you're renting or you don't have the funds to replace that toilet? There's actually a couple of tricks of the trade that you can use to use less water per flush. And it involves something really simple. I'm going to reach forward here and grab it. There we go. You can actually use something as simple as a plastic bottle. How do they use a plastic bottle to save water per flush?
Well, you either fill it with water or you can fill it with gravel, but you want to fill it, and then put it down into your tank. It'll sit in the bottom of the tank and take up that space so that the toilet's not flushing that extra water down. So however much you're able to put in and still get a good flush out of the toilet, that'll save you money on your water bill.
And we actually have used that trick because our first home was built in 1930 and the toilet was from 1930.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of how big.
And
They had a big
it was
water
bad.
tank.
We put a gallon jug in the back. That's how big it was.
Yeah.
We put a gallon jug in the back. Another major source of water use in the home is
The laundry.
the laundry.
Yeah.
That's right. And so the major tip here is to make sure that the water level that you're putting into the washing machine matches the size of your load. So always double check it. Because sometimes, look, we all have to do a small load, right? But if our normal load size is extra large or large, then for the most part, your water level is going to be set up there. So make sure when you fill the washing machine, you double check and see what level is that water at. And of course, it actually costs you the least amount of money to always do full, large, or extra large loads. Because we would think that a small load, 2 small loads equals 1 large load. It doesn't work that way. You actually consume more water with 2 small loads than you do by doing 1 large or extra large load.
Some washers have a sud saver feature on them too, where you can actually suck in the total load of that water back into the washer that you use for your first load. And that does save twice as much water when you can do that every other time to fill it.
So the basic idea of that is repurposing water. So there's actually some other really great ways that you can repurpose water that will help you save on your water bills. One of the things that you can do is get a rainwater collector.
Yeah.
And we had a rain barrel for several years at this house. And you can use that rainwater that you've collected. It's just a large barrel that has basically a spigot at the bottom so that you can draw the water out of the barrel, and you can use that to water plants. You can use it to wash cars. You can use it for any number of purposes that doesn't involve water that you would use for your house. And therefore, you are saving on your water consumption.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk dishes. We're going to talk about dishwashers, and we're going to talk about hand washing dishes. Now, first, we have to admit something to you. We don't own a dishwasher.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Nor have we owned a dishwasher for 32 years. I say that I gave birth to 4 of them, and they actually work fairly efficiently as long as they're not sick and I keep feeding them. So, dishwashers, here's what I can tell you about dishwashers. The best way to use them is to make sure that they're full every time you run them. If you can run them less than once a day, run them say 2 or 3 times a week as opposed to 7 days a week, of course, you're going to not only save on your electricity costs, you're going to save on your water costs. If it has a power saving mode on your dishwasher, you need to make sure that you are using that. Now, hand washing dishes. I read an interesting factoid from the austintexas.gov website that said that it actually costs 27 gallons of water to hand wash dishes, but only 4 gallons of water for the dishwasher. All right, I want to know, what is your opinion of that? Tell me in the comments. Do you feel like you use 27 gallons of water to wash dishes? I really don't. The best thing that you can do when washing dishes, if you have a double sink, is to get 2 small plastic containers. Put 1 plastic container on your wash side. Put 1 plastic container on your rinse side. Go ahead, fill that washing container with warm sudsy water. You do not need to fill the whole side of the sink up with water to wash dishes. That is a waste of water. So go ahead, fill that with sudsy water, and then fill the second container that's over on the other side, on the rinse side, fill that with just plain warm water because you're going to use that to rinse your dishes. So you can do that, wash it, then rinse it in that container and put it over on the dryer rack. Or alternately, and Larry loves to do this, just skip that rinsing phase. put everything over on the dryer rack, and then just use the
Sprayer.
sprayer and gently spray any leftover suds off of the dishes, make sure they're rinsed, and then you would basically do it all at once.
Right.
But do not run the water while you're washing dishes. Don't let all of that water just run down the drain because you're waiting to rinse your dishes off, because that really does waste a lot of water.
It does. Yep.
Another thing that you do that wastes water and you don't even think about it is letting the water run while you are brushing your teeth. How many gallons of water do you suppose one uses to brush one's teeth?
I would think maybe a gallon. I mean, that's what I would think.
Statistically, they say 5 gallons.
Oh my.
Now, so this is, I'm assuming, including the fact that they want you to brush your teeth for 3 minutes. And if you just let a stream of water run down the drain for 5 minutes straight, I'm willing to bet that they're right. That's probably about 5 gallons of water. So what you want to do is just get your toothbrush wet, get the toothpaste on there, and shut the water off. Brush for 3 minutes. And if you have a small cup there that has water in it, you can always rinse a little bit in between if you feel like you really need to. But really, that 1 cup of water, that'll do you. That'll do you for the whole cycle of brushing your teeth. And if you brush your teeth 3 times a day, think about that. How many people in your family, 5 gallons per time you brush your teeth, if you're brushing your teeth at home 3 times a day? That's a lot of water.
It is. Next tip, and this is what I like to do, it's good to capture your water that you're drawing in from the hot water heater. So when you want to do dishes, you want to do dishes in pretty warm water. It's typical for most people just to let the hot water run, the hot water side run until that hot water gets to your sink. Well, what I like to do is I like to fill up the coffee carafe with water. I found out it takes about that much water. That's how much water is in the pipe between our hot water heater and our sink. The same is true when I'm going to take a shower in the morning. I'll draw the water that I'm going to use for cooking first, and that water goes right past the shower. So when I get into the shower, I'm not running it very long before it gets good and hot. So there's lots of different ways to save your water when you're drawing in that hot water from the hot water heater. And one other thing we do too, we have a couple of these Brita, what do you call them, carafes, and so we might fill that
Water
up.
pitchers.
Yeah, water pitchers. So we might fill those up while we're drawing the water in for the hot water.
Hey, if you're enjoying these tips and you're finding them really helpful, go ahead and like this video and share it with your friends, and do be sure that you subscribe to Under the Median. We hope you have found all of these tips helpful. If you employ all of these tips that we've given you, you will save literally thousands of gallons of water every single year, and your water bill will drop.